Only one kid in history had ever attempted what Benny was about to. And he got eaten. So we were worried. Real worried. Even when Benny brought out the secret weapon. Shoes guaranteed to make a kid run faster and jump higher. PF Flyers.
We can't let him do this, man.
All right, everybody, it's Wednesday, so that means it's another day. It's another episode of the Slate Laced podcast. Blair, I'm assuming you're doing good?
Always.
This week we are reviewing The Woman in the Window, and I feel like we had planned on watching this a while ago, but something came out with the release. Something happened with the release.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was the COVID situation, but I do believe we did a review on, well, not a review, but we did the trailer reaction on
Might
here.
have, yeah. Got to go back for us.
Yeah, I know, and I was saying that it was basically Rear Window.
Yeah.
And I was, disappointed. So, I mean, I don't know if I was too thrilled about this movie, but then I was curious at the same time, so.
Obviously, these are our initial thoughts. Then let's get into these right away. I think I was excited to see. When I saw the trailer, I was like, oh, this looks interesting. I was like, oh, I want to see the movie. Mm-hmm. It looked interesting to me. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think you said right away, reminds you of Rear Window. And were you excited because of that? Or you're just like, I hope they do well, or hope they do right by it?
Because it's hard when you're gonna basically remake a movie that you could argue is the greatest movie someone could ever sit down and watch if they choose to watch it, and you choosing to remake that or do another version of it. Well, it's
definitely another version because this is based on a book titled The Woman in the Window as well. But obviously, there's obvious connections, and we'll get into that as we go through this review. This one does have some spoilers, so just heads up now, we are going to get in depth and do a little discussion, a little deep dive into it. So just be prepared for that. If y'all got to stop it and watch it, do so now, because we're going to get into that. But first things first, the synopsis. An agoraphobic woman living alone in New York begins spying on her neighbors only to witness a disturbing act of violence. It is starring Amy Adams, Gary Oldman, Anthony Mackie, Jennifer Jason Leigh, and Julianne Moore. So right there, the cast is top notch. You got some heavy hitting vets. Go ahead.
I mean, yeah, he's there, but he's barely there.
Yeah, because I knew that was his voice, and I was like, oh, when's he gonna pop in? But we'll get into that more because I think I got more on that. Okay. So you heard our initial thoughts. I was excited. Blair was on the fence. He said, you know what, you better hit this out the park or else.
It's impossible, but yeah.
Yeah, it was a tall order. But let's get into some of the positives of the film then. Let's start with the good this time. For me, like I just said, let me define agoraphobia for you because I didn't know it was what it was. I was thinking, I thought it was the bugs. You were scared of the bugs.
Oh,
but that wouldn't have made any sense for the movie.
No, I knew just because,
she was a shut-in or whatever.
Yeah,
so agoraphobia is fear of places and situations that might cause panic, helplessness, or embarrassment. So that definitely makes more sense than what I was thinking. But also just it's kind of broad because if you're just scared of places and situations, you ain't doing much.
Yeah, you're definitely not leaving.
Not
leaving the crib.
Yeah, that shows why she's just holed up in her house all the time. But as the movie continues, you realize how she got to be where she is, as far as her mental state.
Yeah.
So the good for me, real quick, obviously the cast. I mean, I like a good cast of characters here, and it's some heavy hitters. For some reason, like Jennifer Jason Leigh, I don't know whether she gets typecast, but I feel like she always plays this kind of tightly wound woman all the time. And Jennifer Jason Leigh was the husband, not Julianne Moore, who you should know.
Yeah, I know Julianne Moore without a doubt.
So she was the other white lady in the movie.
Oh,
the real wife.
Gotcha.
But she always plays someone just super tightly wound and I don't know. She's kind of irritating. She irritates me in all her roles. And this was no different. I was like, okay, lady,
No.
So yeah, I liked. I think everyone hit their role out the park. I thought it was good acting all around. Amy Adams pulling with the lead. she did really well for me. I like her as an actress anyways, so I was excited to see what she was going to do with this. I pretty much liked the entire cast. I mean, the kid, the young guy was, I didn't really care. But other than that, I mean, I think they did a solid job. What other positives did I have? Oh, I'm going to take a page out of Blair's book. I'm going to go with the cinematography. The shot selections were great. I liked kind of the visuals. The visuals, the whole thing. Like, it kind of, there wasn't too many bright moments. It was very, like,
it was dark.
Kind of dark.
They even hinted at it, that it was dark, too.
Yeah. Like, it's not, the lights are out, but I like it like that. Yeah. So it's very dark. Obviously, this is to build the suspense, build the thrill, all that stuff. So that was great. They played on, what they were trying to make the audience feel. What else? The kind of how the New York brownstones, that was kind of cool, like to kind of see, because, this is worth $1 billion for one. So, these people had some money. But anyway, I like the architecture. What else? I think that was pretty much it for me as far as positives. Entertaining. I was entertained. And then it was like the perfect length. The movie wasn't too long. And it wasn't, I know Blair might have something to say, but it definitely was right in the sweet spot where you weren't getting bored and waiting. But I definitely liked, all that kind of stuff. Blair, some positives for you?
I like when things came full circle for her in the sense of, she was in that room and the detective was basically explaining the situation that had happened to her earlier, and then we got our flashback. At the end of the flashback, we see a car.
Yeah, it was a cool
and everything
shot.
Sitting in the house. That's my favorite part of the movie.
That was cool. I said, oh, look how they did that with the little cinematography.
That was cool. The other thing I liked, the length of time was pretty good. It wasn't too long. In runtime, it wasn't too long. I will go with you on that. The cast was good. I mean, obviously, they've all done movies before, millions and millions of them.
Yep.
So you would expect them to do well. But yeah, that's
about it.
I will say, I thought it was cool to just like that she was watching the old movies, and I was like able to recognize the movies that she was watching. I thought that was cool, but
she had that thing memorized down pat. Well, when you're in your house, ain't nothing to do. But I also like the build-up. So there's obviously she's spying on the neighbors, and she sees Julianne Moore character get stabbed, and then we go into, okay, we need to investigate and we need to call the police. Then she's made up to be crazy, and then we see why, and then she accepts it. So she's like almost going through like acceptance, and then like, oh, I just am crazy, and then boom, the heavy hitter where she finds the face in the glass and is like, nope, haven't been crazy. So I like how it's kind of like we're going to come to terms with the fact that she's just mentally ill, and then, right as, as an audience, we may be accepting it, we take that hard turn and we see, maybe she might have been right all along. So I kind of like the pacing and the buildup of the entire film.
Well, I mean, but the thing with the film is that we're on her side, so we obviously know she isn't crazy. This isn't going to be that type of film. We see it from her perspective. Where it's just like, oh, yeah, man,
but how much
health is insane, and
But how much of a cop out would it be if it was just like, oh, it was a dream?
Yeah,
like, how hot would we be?
Yeah,
we would be hot. Like, don't do those cheap dream sequences. Like, oh, she woke up. It's Wednesday.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
The end. Yeah.
Yep. So I'm glad they did it the way they did. We saw things from her perspective, and it was good.
That was cool that they did that. I was gonna say I did like that they did give the nod to Rear Window in the movie. In the beginning when they showed him falling off of the apartment, and then he had to get in a cast again at the end of the film. So that was cool, showing that part.
Who fell off? What?
James Stewart in Rear Window. He was hanging on top of. He was hanging off the balcony because the killer came inside of his apartment and then was trying to kill him. But they showed that in. Yeah, it was the exact shot in the beginning of the film. When they're going through the house, they show they show the shot of James Stewart. It was like in the very beginning, probably like 45 seconds in.
Who was in the cast?
No, I'm just explaining the film. When James Stewart falls off of the...
of Rear Window, not the woman in the window. I thought you said they did that in the window. I was like, I don't remember that.
But they showed it. They showed him hanging, like in the film. They showed him hanging in Woman in the Window. They showed
I don't remember. I don't remember that.
Yeah,
really?
It's like 45 seconds in when they're going through and showing the house, when they're doing the layout, like as if it's a horror film, when they start to show... This
is why you gotta watch it with the old eagle eye. I don't remember that. I don't remember that scene. Okay.
Yeah.
So then right off the bat, they gave that little shout out. Like,
yeah.
Hey.
So I was like, I was hyped. I was hyped then. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, okay.
I missed it.
Because I just didn't want it to seem like it was gonna be a blatant ripoff, know. But at least they was like, nah, this
they
is.
Called it out. They called it out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good on them.
So
and
I was about to
be.
I was gonna be a little bit lighter on the judging with that.
Okay. Okay, well, I'll have to go back and check for that shot. But, as there's good, there's always bad.
Not necessarily, but in this case there is.
Yeah. Well, have we had a perfect one? I don't think we've had a perfect film. Well, I know you ain't said nothing perfect. So we're going to get into the ugly with this one. Blair, you want to take it away?
Sure. I mean, it wasn't good. It was not good. I won't say it's the worst that we've seen.
Nah.
But it ain't too far off. So first, I did want to say some of the acting was a bit off. Or actually, I won't say it. I'll say it was the writing. So for example, her tenant, when he was yelling at her about being a felon. The one night that he, whatever, beat somebody up at a bar or whatever. Mm-hmm. This dude just started ranting for like...
He was out of, like, he just real got defensive out of nowhere. We're like, bro, chill. Like, we ain't even doing all that.
We didn't even press you. Yeah. We didn't even, know, and
that part was odd.
And he went on for like at least a minute where we just like watched him like yell at her and we're just like...
We're like, sick, man.
Okay.
Good for you.
And I get it, that there's certain information.
Maybe he was embarrassed that he got caught or something. I don't know.
Yeah, but I know part of it is like they're trying to give us information that we can utilize later on in the film.
Paint him as a bad guy. Oh, maybe he's a killer, but it's a red herring because he wasn't even the dude.
He wasn't even. Yeah, but like it's like the way they gave all of the information was like not even remotely necessary. We could have did it in a way more like much more subtle way, but it was just so far-fetched that I had to paint this example because it was like there was a lot of moments like that within this film where you just like watching and you're just like, huh?
Yeah, that was odd because he just came out of left field like hot, like bro, chill. But okay.
And then even like when the detective was just going, your family's dead. Your family's dead.
She needed to be slapped though, from the jump.
What are you? What does even make it? First of all, you have to assume that she knows this information already, right? So it's like that. Like that's the hard part of writing, because I know that is for us to then be like, oh dang, like we didn't know that. We're tripping out now, right? But you still have to assume that she knew that information. So the fact that she kept repeating it like that was like, okay, what are we doing here, But that was another moment where I'm just like, come on. And this is like basically the biggest moment of the film, because this then leads into when I'm talking about we go into the sequence and we finally see like what the snow and everything was for, and it like adds up to that. Another thing is that I don't know if I necessarily wanted to see that flashback. A lot of times it's like we know that a person is struggling.
I wanted to see it.
I wanted it in a different way. There could have been a different way to tell the story. See, the thing is like this is always the hard part, but it's like you got to find a way to get the audience to understand why the character is going through something, why they're struggling, why their life is the way it is right now. And why is she alone? Why are they separated, And you got to find creative ways to tell that story, because sometimes when you just give a flashback, it's like, yeah, I get it. You're trying to show it to us. But sometimes that's not the most powerful way to do that. And I feel like
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I feel like in that situation, it didn't apply. I don't think that it gave more clarity to us. I feel like by this point in time in the film, most of the audience has already checked out. So giving us that, I didn't think it really did anything for us.
I liked the one thing to that. I did like the flashback, and I like how they kept giving it to us in pieces. Because remember, when every time she would wake up,
we didn't really get it in pieces.
No,
though.
they would flash to that ceiling, like the night sky with the snow, and I'm like, what does she keep seeing? Like,
Yeah, but we didn't get more and more. We just kept getting that.
But that was good, and then they finally gave us the full flashback, and I'm like, oh, that's why she keeps waking up before she like redreams that sequence. So I kind of liked it.
We also see the phone too. The phone is always in the opening shot when the day changes, when it goes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Okay.
The phone is laying next to her in the
Yep,
bed
yep.
because that's the other thing that caused the accident.
Yep.
So I mean,
but I liked it.
I understand. I understand it. I know what they're trying to do.
I like the way they put that together, and I like that they threw that in there.
Well, I guess it's just me, so don't listen to me.
Go ahead.
But and then so the thing about that's why it's tough, is because you're trying not to compare Rear Window. But Rear Window's so good because 20 minutes into the film, the scene has been set. We know what's going to happen. We know everything about our character. We know what our character wants. We know what the secondary character wants. The secondary character wants him. And then we just sit here and we watch everything transpire from his house. He's looking in, through his camera, and we're like seeing everything happen, basically like what we see in The Woman in the Window. Mm-hmm. But that's it. And that's all we get. And the man never leaves the house, and that's like what's so intriguing about that film. So then when you go, okay, well, now we're watching The Woman in the Window, there's like all types of things going on, but it's almost like it's not really that often that she's watching things from the window.
No.
It's almost like she's doing everything but that, other than like maybe a couple times.
They definitely didn't make her watching the central part of the movie. Like, whereas in Rear Window, it's like he out here, binoculars up,
trying to figure things out.
She really starts spying once she witnesses what she witnesses. And then she starts getting locked in. So yeah, that is interesting. And also, shout out to another film that just has 1 to 2 locations. It
literally has one location.
It's
the.
I was thinking maybe if we go to the accident, maybe you can kind of push that.
So he stays inside and then he falls out of the apartment, and that's it.
No, I'm talking about Woman in the Window. As far as her accident being on a snowy slope.
Yeah.
But this is still a good, my kind of movie where I like that one setting, like make it happen. So that's another positive. Sorry, I had to throw it in there.
No, I mean, I know what you're saying. It's just like, but for me, it just seems like it's just like they're trying, well, not really necessarily trying to confuse you. I get it as a psychological type film, but all we see in her is drink, take some pills.
She's lucking for sure.
Lay in bed.
But if you've been through what she's been through, you might be drinking.
No, I know what you're saying, but this is like why I'm basically saying there's nothing going on in the film. We literally see her drink, pop some pills, lay in bed, watch a movie, walk around the house in the dark a little bit, tell somebody, oh yeah, no, you don't gotta knock, just come in. It's all good. Then he doesn't knock and come in, and then she gets startled and is calling the police. It's just like a lot of just random stuff going on that like we don't really need, and I feel like doesn't really push the plot forward at all. So that's just to sum it up for me.
One of the negatives I had was the predictability. Literally, Blair. The first phone call she had with the husband, I was like, he's dead. Like, I just knew right away. I was like, her family doesn't exist. Like, something about it, like the way he was talking and we're separated, I was like, he's dead. So that part for me, like, was really predictable, but they also tricked me because then I thought, I'm like, oh, the therapist she's seeing, he's fake too. Like, I thought that was going to be a figment. She really in there talking to the walls like some psycho stuff.
Well, then that's good of you. I didn't
right
think
away I was like, dead. Like, something just told me, I was like, this man's not alive. Like, it was just too good to be true.
Shout out to you.
Yeah, the fact that she was like, I don't know, it just didn't seem realistic that she's going to call him right when she wakes up and be like, he's like, well, you're just acting crazy. Like, I don't know, the advice he was giving, I was like, that's her subconscious. That's not her husband telling her. That's what she's thinking. So right away, that predictability, that was one of my knocks. Like, they needed to make me work for that a little more.
But that didn't seem that because for me, it's like the film just started.
Just started, and I was like, he's dead. Literally, as soon as I watched it, I was like, he's not real. Like, this is gonna be in her mind. Like, something about it told me. It was just the very generic advice he's getting. He's like, well, are you taking your pills? Well, maybe because you're crazy. Like I don't know.
That's understandable, but I think because it was so early on, I was just taking all the information that was given. Like, why am I supposed to be trying to make? Yeah, but not.
But in One Foot, they did trick me with the therapist. I thought that dude was fake. So he ended up really being a real guy trying to give her advice and adjust her medication and all that.
Yeah.
So one thing that they kind of just was too predictable for me. They also gave me something that was more complex. So I'll forgive them for that. But as far as everything else, I mean, I kind of liked it. I'm gonna get to the end, which is one of my main issues here. Didn't like that it's the son being the psycho killer thing. It's the easy cop out. We saw that with Deadly Illusions. It's the easy solution. I don't want what's easy. Give me something like the mom and dad together, the husband and wife, Gary Oldman and Jennifer Jason Leigh, together killed this woman in some plot to hide some big fraud or some scandal. Give me that. I don't want the boy that I thought was odd and autistic or something. I was like, something's wrong with this boy. I thought he was special needs. Don't just make him be the killer, because that's the obvious choice. Like, something wrong with the boy. We knew that from the jump. The way he was just rolling in with a candle or whatever he had. I don't even know what he had, but
he says something lavender
or something. Yeah,
some lavender something.
Whatever. It was odd. So I just thought, again, you guys are going for the low hanging fruit. I wanted something more complex. I wanted her death to be what it was. But so that was my second big con. It's just the kind of being predictable, and then the ending I did not like at all. But I was reading around other reviews, and I saw that it's people that read the book did not like this movie. So this was obviously one of those things where it's a better read than it is a watch, because some of the viewers were saying, like, there was more manipulation with the son, whose name is Ethan, in the movie. He was really gaslighting her and making her, became a pen pal with her online. He was actually the one that sent her that photo. Like, we don't get any of this backstory in the movie. That just pops up in her Gmail account, and that's when we see Julianne Moore's face, making her realize that she's not crazy. But there was a whole, like, she has a pen pal, and that was Ethan. So it's a whole, there's like a whole backstory between them two, those two, that we don't get. And then also, which is huge, and I had no idea why they left this out, when they get in an accident in the book, she's stranded there watching them die for multiple days because she has no service. Basically, we come in, they're already dead. From the accident, and she's trying to call 911. But it would now make sense that she's watching them die when she's putting ice on her mouth. Remember when the Amy Adams is putting ice on the little girl's mouth? Oh, yeah. That makes sense, because she's trying to give her water, and so she's kind of watching them die. But that didn't click until I read that review, that's what happened in the book. So they left out a lot of information. Obviously, it would have made the time, this turned it into a 2-hour movie, which we would have been like, they needed to chop it. So, I guess we can't. I sit here and complain about the movie's too long, and then I'm saying, well, you need to give us more of this backstory. So, do I know what I'm talking about? Probably not. But anyway, they left out so many facts that I guess the readers were given in the book that made the book such like a great book that they didn't give us in the film. So I think if they would have gave us those details, make us see Ethan basically conning her a little more, and then the accident, how she was stranded for multiple days, like watching them die, that would have been more like heart-wrenching, and we've been like, dang, like this, not that the accident wasn't heart-wrenching, that's jacked up, but like it was so quick and they died on impact, but yeah, it would just gave more, to her mental state and where she was, because she basically snapped and lost it after that, couldn't go outside, and is now basically a pill-popping drunk. But as far, those are pretty much the cons for me. Blair, anything else on those things?
Nah, it just, it needed more. It needed more work, a little bit more fine tuning.
Were you good with that ending though?
Nah, of course not.
It was too simple. It was too easy.
Well, so in the Rear Window film, the husband across the way did do it. He did kill his wife and was like, whatever, burying her or whatever, and buried stuff like out in the front of the the courtyard. But with this film, it's like it just, like, I don't know, for me it doesn't work, because like what? Why are we doing it like it's a child serial killer?
Yeah,
you know.
I didn't like that.
I don't know what the angle.
And he's
is.
like, "This was that was my first kill." Like, bro.
But that's what
down.
that relates back to earlier when I was talking about the dialogue and just how real things can be was really off with this film. But it's just like I don't know. It didn't work for me. I needed more. I also didn't really necessarily feel like the stakes were as high, or wasn't as high enough, because it was like, for me, I never really felt like she conquered what it was that she, what was going through. The only reason she even left was because he was trying to, she was trying to, he was trying to kill her. But outside
there
of
was
that,
no resolution. It's not like she
never came face to face with her, her inner demons and things like that.
And then they brought up this alleged affair that she might have had. But then we didn't touch on that enough.
Yeah, it just was like,
because that's why they were arguing and on the brink of divorce was because of an affair. But we needed a little bit more to that because, again, like Blair said, we didn't. What was her redemption at the end of the film? Like, she finally fought for her life. I guess that was
just
it.
a man was in there with a knife and was chasing her, so she had to come.
Because what made her go outside? Like, it wasn't to, I promised my daughter that I would be the best therapist, so let me go out and do. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't any of that. So yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying with that.
Like for example, with James Stewart in Rear Window potentially leaving. Like, this is how like solid this one is, right? So he has the girl that he's like in love with go out next door and potentially find some information, and then she gets stopped by the man who did kill her, kill the wife, right? And so now he's stuck like, I got to get over there, right? But I'm in a cast, I'm in a wheelchair. But, this girl I love is across the way, potentially in danger, right? So you can see why the stakes are high for that, where it's like, I know I can't go outside, but shoot, I might have to go outside because of the situation that I have now found myself in.
Amy Adams' loved ones are already dead. Like, it's like there's no stakes. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
It's not nearly as deep as it was with Rear Window.
Yeah.
So, but that's what I'm saying, where it's like I'm trying not to compare and contrast, but literally the movies are identical. It's just one is so rock solid, and then there's one where it's just like they didn't even spend, I feel like, enough time on it as they should have. And then, like you said, I really do feel like it was a cop-out with making it be the kid, and I don't even think it needed to be as deep as like, like some money scam or something like that. But I think it needed to be like...
Need to be the husband and the wife.
It needed to be deeper than what it was, because it basically was, he was like, I just killed because,
And then
that's what I do. I'm young and I want to kill.
They made us... And then they also, which is a good little red herring, they made us feel for the little kid because his dad slapped him, and they made us hate the dad.
But that's
now
also,
maybe it was the dad was yelling at him because he's like, man, you're out of control, son. Like, you out here stabbing folk.
But I think
I wonder if the dad knew that his son killed her. Is that what we're supposed to?
But see, the thing, the film isn't even deep enough for me to want to care and try to potentially figure that out.
Yeah, go ahead and write us in the comments what y'all think. Because did the dad know?
But I guess it seems like the dad did know. But I think the reason that serial killers are born, and that's what they're trying to imply, is because of the dysfunction that is in his family. Yeah. His dad that is abusive, his actual mom that's not really around but is randomly popping up and things like that. Due to that nature and what he grew up with, he is now becoming this.
Something in you breaks, So, I guess that is a good conclusion, but again, I would like to have been shown that a little bit more. And why you made us, kind of hate the father, and then just kind of put a little more pieces together for us. That would have been great. Give us a little more detail. But other than that, for me, we'll get into the ratings right now. But for me, it was pretty. It was pretty solid. But yeah, there's still a lot of cons, and there's still a lot of plot holes and things that we wish they would have done better. Now I'm wishing I would have read the book, because it seems like the book was on point. A lot of people was just riding for that book and not for the film. But let's get into the ratings. It did not do well. When I tell you that, I was shocked to find out.
I wasn't.
The ratings, I didn't know it did this bad.
I never looked at the ratings, but when I was watching the film 20 minutes in, 30 minutes in, I just knew it wasn't good.
The people of Rotten Tomatoes, 26%. That's rough. That's rough. I think that's one of the worst ones we've seen rating-wise.
No, it's not. Deadly Illusions was 9.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, well, blocked it out. Sorry. Yeah, so you got that rotten 26% from Rotten Tomatoes. And then the people of IMDb, the audience score, they gave it a 5.7. So still below average on both ends. It just wasn't. It did not do well, and obviously didn't resonate with people the way they thought. But again, we're here for the Slate rate, the only rate that matters. Blair, what you got at 1 to 5 entertainment?
2.
2 on entertainment, okay. 1 to 5 on originality. I know you're gonna kill it on this because you saying Rear Window. It's already based on a book. It's an adaptation, which we try not to criticize the films for because you're allowed to adapt books to films. But it's something to say that it's not just right off the bat. It can't get a 5, right? If it's an adaptation. So Blair, what you got?
1.
1 on originality. Okay, it is kind of a little remake in a sense.
It's Rear
of
Window.
sorts.
It's Rear Window and didn't succeed. You know.
For me, entertainment, I was decently entertained. I'm gonna go 3. I'm gonna go middle of the road there, a little bit more of the middle of the road. On entertainment, originality, it is Rear Window-esque. I can't give it a 4 because of the adaptation aspect of it. Man. But it did have some nice little pieces that I guess was, different to the plot, adding her family in there being dead. The agoraphobia is a different take than just being crippled. Shoot. I'm gonna keep it right in the middle. I'm gonna go 3. So I got a 6 out of 10. Blair, you got a 3 out of 10. Ooh, that's kind of rough.
Yeah. What do you mean? You gave it a 6, 3 points higher than it should be.
Yeah.
But,
so let's get into where we talk straight into the camera and let people know what we think. Should you watch this? Blair is saying, heck no.
No, I do not think you should watch it. The funny thing I was gonna say too is like she had this like exquisite camera, just like James Stewart did in Rear Window. But the difference is that in Rear Window, James Stewart, he was a photographer. That was his job. She is like a shrink, but for children. So it's like, dang, what are you doing with such a nice camera?
She got cash. They live in a brownstone.
But she was
they got
obviously
money.
She does it because this is Rear Window Part 2. But so that's also why it's a 3 for me.
For me, I liked it. Check it out it's entertaining. You're not gonna be bored. You're not gonna be checking your watch.
That's not true.
You're gonna be. I mean, to me, it's an entertaining film. Like, is it riveting and it's the best thriller you've ever seen? Nope. But it's a thriller by itself, and it is a psychological drama. I think it's definitely worth a watch. Is it something that you got to stop what you're doing and watch right now? No. But it's definitely something you should check out. I recommend this one for sure. I got a 6 out of 10. I'm confident in that score. And then Blair's got to add the 3, so he ain't feeling it too much. Definitely drop the comments. Let us know what you guys think. Let us know what y'all think of Woman in the Window. We definitely got some reviews coming up soon, some more film reviews. I know I'm trying to go see that Quiet Place, which is coming out, I think, the end of this month. Blair, you still haven't even seen one. Right. You got to get on the ball because we definitely going to be reviewing A Quiet Place too, because The Quiet Place is lit. We'll have some more trailer reactions, I'm sure, as we start going back to theaters. I'm definitely going to the theater next week. Okay. Have you been? You ain't been back either. See, now we just used to just pop it on Netflix.
But also, I only have 1 day off, so it's hard to
to get in that. Yep.
It's hard to schedule three viewings in the week.
Yeah, I do that one view, and remember.
Well, no, I know, but with our
that's
past,
right,
we're supposed to try to go 3 times a week.
Right. Oh shoot, yeah, because we get the 3.
What I'm saying? So it's
we're
like
A-list. I forgot.
Right.
I ain't been on the list.
So I never activated mine yet
Me
because
neither.
I'm like I could only potentially go once a week right now.
Yeah,
so
true.
Just wasn't making sense.
True. Time is of the essence. We ain't got time. But I am trying to go back to the theater. Maybe I'll just pay for this one because Blair brought up a good point. I forgot about that 3. That 3-fer. But I'm definitely trying to go back. I'm gonna start off my viewing with A Quiet Place 2, most likely, and then we'll be back with some trail reactions. Obviously, we got some shoe content coming next week. Stay tuned. Blair, anything before we close?
Yeah, don't watch the movie.
Check it out if you want. Let us know what you think. Let us know where you're leaning. We want to know. It is the Slate Laced Gang. We're out.